Hey everyone, welcome back. We're diving into something pretty cool today.
Yeah.
Allium DAO. It's really pushing the boundaries in the blockchain world.
It really is. Not your typical DAO.
Tell me a bit more about what makes it so different.
Well, it's a community-powered launchpad
Okay.
and incubation program.
Interesting.
And it's designed to support ethical and sustainable blockchain projects. Think of it kind of like a breeding ground for innovation, but with a conscience, you know?
Okay, I'm intrigued. So, what makes the Launchpad stand out? It's not just funding.
Definitely not. No. This is where it gets really cool. Imagine you're passionate about green tech, right? But you see this promising project and it's struggling to get funding. With Allium DAO's Launchpad, you actually get to vote on which projects you think deserve support.
Oh, wow.
So you're a vital part of that whole selection process.
That's amazing.
And guess what? You're not alone. Like, a whole community of like-minded people are right there with you, collectively shaking the future of blockchain.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like crowdfunding, but like on steroids.
Yes.
But with a focus on ethical and impactful projects.
Exactly.
Now, how do they make sure everyone has a fair shot? Are we talking about a level playing field, or is it just another playground for the big players?
Right. That's where their tiered access system comes in.
Okay.
It's designed to prevent, those with huge amounts of crypto from dominating the process.
Right.
So, ensuring that there's fair distribution of opportunities, no more, feeling drowned out by the big players, right?
Right, right.
Allium DAO is all about inclusivity. But it doesn't stop there. They take ethical considerations very seriously.
Oh, really? Tell me more about that. How do they ensure these projects are actually ethical and sustainable?
Every single project undergoes rigorous compliance and ethics screening.
Wow.
I mean, we're talking legal reviews, adherence to ethical business standards, the whole 9 yards. They're not just throwing money at any shiny new project.
Right.
They're making sure it aligns with their values of transparency and responsibility.
Now, that's what I call putting your crypto where your mouth is. But it sounds like they're going beyond just basic checks.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you mention something about an incubation program?
Ah.
And with like a unique twist?
Absolutely. It's not just about funding. It's about nurturing these projects for long-term success. So Allium DAO, they provide a structured curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
It covers everything from business planning and marketing to technical development. Think of it as like a blockchain boot camp, right? Equipping these startups with all the tools they need to thrive. But here's where things get really interesting. They've integrated Islamic business ethics into the program.
Okay, now that's something you don't see every day. How does that work in the world of blockchain?
Essentially, it's about incorporating ethical decision-making into every aspect of the business.
Okay.
For example, they emphasize riba-free financing,
Okay.
which basically means interest-free transactions.
It's interesting.
It's about ensuring fairness and avoiding exploitative practices.
Got it.
And there's a huge focus on social responsibility, meaning these projects aren't just evaluated on their profit potential, but also on their impact on the community and the world at large.
So they're not just building businesses, they're building businesses that contribute to a better future.
I love that. But let's be realistic, navigating the blockchain world can be, tough. What kind of support do these startups get?
Well, you've got to have a good guide, right? That's where Allium DAO's network of mentors comes in.
Oh, cool.
Each startup gets paired with experienced individuals, industry experts, successful entrepreneurs,
Nice.
even Allium DAO community leaders who've been there and done that.
Nice.
It's like having a team of seasoned Sherpas guiding you through the, sometimes treacherous terrain of the blockchain landscape.
Talk about a strong support system. Now, we've talked a lot about the community aspect of Allium DAO, but how does this whole thing actually work? How do they make decisions? It is a DAO, after all. Where does the eponymous part come into play? Right. That's where we dive into the heart of this decentralized system. Every major decision in Allium DAO is made by the community itself. It's like a digital democracy powered by blockchain technology.
Okay, I'm all ears. How do they manage a digital democracy with potentially thousands of participants? It sounds like a logistical nightmare.
They've got a really slick voting mechanism where members collectively decide on everything from which projects get selected for the Launchpad to how resources are allocated, even the future direction of the platform itself. It's about putting the power back in the hands of the people.
Wow, so it's not just about investing, it's about having a real say in how this ecosystem evolves.
Yeah.
But with so many voices, how do they keep things organized and make sure everyone's on the same page?
Transparency is key. And that's one of the beautiful things about blockchain. Every decision, every vote, every bit of activity is publicly documented on the blockchain for everyone to see.
Yeah.
That level of transparency is pretty rare.
Yeah, for sure.
And it builds a strong foundation of trust and makes sure the platform stays true to its core values. Plus, it keeps everyone engaged. Active participation is rewarded. It's not just about voting. It's about actively contributing to the growth and success of the entire ecosystem.
That's really cool. You're making me want to join this DAO myself. But before I do, I have to ask the million-dollar question. How does this whole operation stay afloat? Are they constantly fundraising?
Nope, and that's the genius part. They've devised a self-sustaining funding model that's pretty remarkable.
Okay, I'm all ears. Spill the beans.
Remember all those amazing projects being launched and nurtured on the platform? Well, they're designed to generate revenue.
Right.
Think, decentralized applications, also known as dApps.
Okay.
With built-in fees, staking rewards where you earn by holding certain cryptocurrencies, and other innovative income streams. And here's the kicker. A portion of that revenue flows right back into the Allium treasury. So it's like a virtuous cycle. The more successful the projects, the more fuel they have to launch even more initiatives. I think you mentioned they call it the Allium infinite loop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's about building a sustainable ecosystem that can support itself and the community for the long haul.
This is seriously impressive stuff. They're not just talking the talk, they're walking the walk.
I know, right? And we're just scratching the surface here. We haven't even touched upon the broader implications of this initiative.
Well, hold on to that thought because we'll be diving deeper into those implications in the next part. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Before the break, we were just starting to explore the wider implications of Allium DAO's innovative approach.
It really does feel like they're onto something special here, blending this, cutting-edge technology with a strong ethical compass. But let's get down to brass tacks. How are they actually turning this vision into a reality? They have a roadmap, right?
They do, and it's pretty comprehensive.
Okay.
They've broken down their implementation into four key phases.
Phase 1 is all about laying the groundwork. So that means, defining the structure of the DAO, bringing in legal experts and Islamic finance specialists to make sure everything is compliant and ethically sound, and setting up, that robust governance structure with all the voting mechanisms and transparency protocols.
What sounds like a lot of behind-the-scenes work, but it's essential to build a solid foundation, right?
Yeah.
You can't just launch a rocket without making sure all the systems are in place.
Exactly. And then comes phase 2, where they start building the initial version of the platform, focusing on the core functionalities of the Launchpad and the Incubation program. They'll onboard a select group of projects, mentors, and community members for beta testing. Think of it as like a dress rehearsal, right? Before the big opening night.
I can already sense the excitement building as they get closer to the launch. What happens in phase 3? Is that when the curtain officially rises?
That's when the magic truly unfolds. It's showtime, They officially open the platform to the world, inviting all Allium DAO members to jump in and participate. This is where the community really gets to, flex its muscles, actively engaging in governance, voting, and resource allocation. They'll also be hosting, educational events and workshops, diving deeper into the incubation program's curriculum, Islamic business ethics, and those all important sustainable development principles.
Like they're creating a movement, not just a platform, a community of, like-minded individuals coming together to build a better future using, blockchain technology.
Yeah.
It's pretty inspiring, actually. So what's next? What does expansion look like for them in phase 4?
Phase 4 is all about taking Allium DAO to the next level. So they plan to establish strategic partnerships with, other ethical blockchain initiatives, Islamic finance institutions, and impact-oriented investors. It's about, expanding their network, creating a powerful ecosystem of change makers who share their vision. They'll also be scaling the platform based on feedback from the community, constantly refining and improving the user experience.
It's amazing to see how they're taking such a long-term sustainable approach,
Yeah.
Always learning and evolving. It really speaks to their commitment. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the bigger picture. Could this model, this unique blend of blockchain technology and ethical principles, be a blueprint for other industries?
That's the million-dollar question. And frankly, it's what makes Allium DAO so exciting. They're not just disrupting the blockchain industry.
Right.
They're potentially revolutionizing how we think about, business. governance, and community engagement as a whole.
I see what you mean. The principles they're applying, transparency, community ownership, ethical decision-making, those could be game changers in so many different sectors. Imagine the possibilities.
Exactly. Imagine a world where, consumers have a direct say in how companies operate, where profits are reinvested back into the community, where ethical considerations are at the forefront of every business decision.
Yeah.
Allium DAO is showing us that, it's not just a pipe dream. It's a tangible possibility.
It's like they're creating a new paradigm for the 21st century, a blueprint for a more equitable and sustainable future. It's definitely food for thought for anyone who's looking to, create positive change in the world.
And that's exactly what Allium DAO is all about. They're not just building a platform, they're building a movement,
Yeah.
A movement driven by a shared vision of a better future, one block at a time.
It's been incredible exploring the world of Allium DAO with you. The innovation, the commitment to ethical values, the community empowerment. It's truly inspiring.
I completely agree. It's refreshing to see a project that's not just focused on profits, but on creating real positive impact.
Now, before we wrap things up, we need to address the elephant in the room. Every groundbreaking initiative faces challenges,
Right.
And Allium DAO is no exception. So let's take a look at some of the potential hurdles they might encounter on this journey and what lessons we can all learn from their experience. Welcome back, everyone. So we've seen the amazing potential of Allium DAO, but we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the challenges they might face. Building something this innovative is never easy, right?
No, not at all. It's while their vision is inspiring, they're not immune to all the complexities of the blockchain world. One of the big ones is navigating the regulatory landscape.
Ah, yes. The Wild West of crypto regulations. How could that impact them?
Well, different countries have different approaches to, blockchain tech and DAOs.
Right.
So keeping up with all the regulations globally can be a real headache, not to mention time consuming,
Yeah.
Allium DAO's focus on legal reviews and ethical standards is a great start, but staying ahead of the regulatory curve, well, that's going to be an ongoing challenge. It's like trying to hit a moving target.
That makes sense. It's a constantly evolving space. Now, What about the community itself? Could managing that pose any challenges?
Absolutely. Think about it. Coordinating a large decentralized community, it can be like herding cats.
Yeah.
Especially online.
Right.
Ensuring everyone actively participates, feels that sense of ownership, and resolving any disputes fairly. It requires a lot of planning and those, robust governance mechanisms we talked about.
Yeah. Herding digital cats.
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. But it sounds like they've thought about this, right? With their voting system and emphasis on transparency.
Definitely. Yeah, those are key. But community dynamics can be, unpredictable. Allium DAO will need to stay flexible, and responsive to the needs and perspectives of its members. Even with the best technology, it's still people who make it all work.
That's so true. And speaking of technology, what about the technical challenges? Blockchain is still a relatively new field. And I've heard that scaling things up can get kind of tricky.
Yeah, that's a great point. As Allium DAO grows and more projects come on board, they'll need to make sure that underlying blockchain infrastructure can handle it all.
Right.
So scalability and security, those will be essential for them to, succeed in the long run.
It's like building a rocket ship while it's already blasting off.
Yeah, kind of.
But it sounds like Allium DAO is approaching this strategically. So what are some of the key takeaways we can learn from what they're doing?
I think the biggest takeaway is the power of combining, innovation with values.
Okay.
Allium DAO is proving that you can, push the boundaries of technology while still holding on to ethics, sustainability, and community empowerment. It's not an either situation, right?
Yeah.
It's about finding that sweet spot where everyone benefits.
It's like they're rewriting the rules of the game,
Yeah.
Showing everyone that there's a better way to do business.
Another crucial takeaway is the importance of transparency and community engagement by giving members a voice in decision making and making sure everything's documented publicly.
Right.
Allium DAO builds trust and accountability. That's something organizations everywhere can learn from, blockchain or not.
It's about shifting the power dynamics from, centralized control to a more collaborative and democratic way of doing things.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Allium DAO, I want to leave you with something to think about. We've seen how they're using blockchain to, build a more equitable and sustainable future. But the potential of this technology is vast. What problems could it help you solve in your own community or industry? What opportunities could it unlock? Keep those questions in mind as you explore the world of blockchain. This is just the beginning of a transformative journey, and we're excited to see where it takes us all. Thanks for joining us.